Good morning, Mayor. For the record, Brendan Miller, I'm appearing as counsel for Freedom Corp, which represents the protesters that were in the city of Ottawa in January and February. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Long flight. I love driving through Coutts.
Yeah.
So, beautiful part of the country. So, if we could please bring up, it's the document that my friends have already referred to from the federal government. It's the Canada document ending 8500 that was just up.
Apologies. Do you have the full doc ID?
Yes, I do. It is pb.nsc.can.0000850. Okay, and could we please scroll to page 32? Verse. It's just loading still. There we go. Okay. So this is the document my friend put to you. It's a PowerPoint put together by the RCMP. And there you can see that they are doing what they refer to as community engagement and talking and listening to protesters, supporters, and residents of Coutts. Did you witness any of that?
Not personally.
Yeah.
Only on
Right.
line.
But you ended up going and speaking to the protesters yourself too, didn't you?
Yes.
Right. And I understand that when you did that, you ended up doing an interview with CTV and City News about that experience. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay. Well, let me ask you if you remember saying this. I just want to put this. This is a statement that's been attributed to you. I wasn't negotiating or anything else. I was just there to find out if they were as bad as some people have said, and they're certainly not. Do you remember saying that?
Sounds like something I would say, yeah.
And you remember saying this about the protesters? They're the same guys that I have for neighbors.
That was part of the uniqueness of this whole demonstration, yeah.
Right. And you also said they're the guy that owns the farm up on the hill, the guy that hauls for local businesses. Do you remember saying that?
Probably did.
Right. And this situation, I understand, polarized your community. There was, the community was essentially divided by half supporting, half against the truckers. Is that fair?
As I said earlier, probably 70-30.
70-30.
On a good day, yeah.
Right. And was that 70-30 in support, or which one was in the 30 and 70?
That would have been supporting the protest.
70%? Or 30% supporting the protest?
No, 70.
70%,
Yeah.
okay. So the majority of your town?
Majority of the town was the feeling I got.
Yeah. And there was signs up and flags of all kinds that were on residences of your town's property. Is that fair?
A few, yeah.
And can you tell me about some of the ones you saw and describe them? I know some of them were a bit vulgar, but if you'd like to.
Oh, everybody has seen them. The Trudeau flags,
The ones say F Trudeau?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Some of the Gadsden flags, the Don't Tread on Me. A lot of Canadian flags, many of them inverted, which I wholeheartedly do not approve of.
Yeah. And those flags were in your own community?
Yeah.
Put up on the property
Yep.
of your own residents?
A lot of U.S. flags, yep.
Okay. And because you're right on the border with Montana there, right? There is an intersect between the population in Montana and Coutts. Is that fair?
Yep.
Yeah. And can you explain, how long have you been in rural Alberta politics?
In rural Alberta politics, since I was elected to council, we had this discussion 5 years ago.
Okay. And what's the vibe you get or the interactions you have with your residents with respect to their support or lack of support for the federal government as it currently is composed?
Well, I'll quote my CAO, Trudeau hates us. And that's basically, you could talk to anybody there. There's a great dislike for the federal government on a
Okay.
high percentage.
And what is these dislikes? What are they about? What are these people's grievances in your residence and in that area?
Genetic? I don't know I've lived in Alberta for half my life, which means a long time. And I've seen this us versus them thing grow, east versus west. I spend too much time on social media. But the feeling, smarter minds than me have tried to figure it out. I really don't understand the great dislike for the federal government.
So there was, I don't know if you got the opportunity to watch. Did you watch the testimony of Ms. Tamara Litch in this proceeding because it was played out on TV?
I saw some of it.
Do you remember when she said that a lot of Albertans feel that they don't have a voice because the elections that are resulting in the elections of NP and the federal executive are determined before they even vote, and that they just don't feel represented in Ottawa? Do you remember hearing that?
Yeah, I think I heard that, Joe.
Is that a general grievance that you've heard some of your constituents and that you've heard some of rural Albertans and other Albertans talk about?
I believe so. Mr. Motts would probably disagree with the part that they're not represented because he has represented us very well from that area. But I think just talking about that is a problem that anybody that has studied politics or government will agree with. The fact that you've got a mass of population concentrated in the east and you don't have in the west, and if you do just by votes, it's very difficult to feel like you're swaying anything when all of the election returns come in, and by the time you're voting, it's already been decided. So I can understand that.
And are you aware that with respect to the protests in Ottawa, it's been reported that Albertans made up essentially almost half of the individuals that were here?
I wasn't aware of that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Thank you.
Yep.